Hello, so today I'm going to be showing you how to make this really fun old recipe that I got from a magazine, and I adapted it to be both gluten and dairy free now. So I start out, I have my 3 3/4 cups of flour right here. I'm going to be adding 1 1/2 teaspoons of cloves, and then 3 1/2 teaspoons of cinnamon, 3 teaspoons of ginger, 1 1/4 teaspoons of baking soda, and then 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Okay, and that's it for the dry ingredients. So while the original recipe called for 11 tablespoons of butter, I have used 5 tablespoons of coconut oil and then 4 tablespoons of beef tallow instead. And then I'm also going to add in about 1 cup of sugar. And then this is going to be heated until it's nice and light and fluffy. And then we're going to add 1/2 cup of maple syrup with 1 tablespoon molasses. And the molasses is optional. Alright, and it should look like this when we're through. For the next step, we'll be adding the flour and coconut milk to the fat and sugar mixture in alternating batches, starting with the flour and the spices mixture. Add about 1 heaping cup of the flour, and then add about 1/2 cup of milk and mix some more. I do this in about 3 different batches, always starting and ending with the flour. I'm going to allow this to play out because it can be a bit confusing at first, but it doesn't take too long. Next, get 2 small pieces of plastic wrap and then divide the dough into 2 portions. Spoon out half of the dough into the plastic wrap and then wrap it up and smooth it out. Repeat with the other half of the dough. Then put them both in the fridge for at least an hour. Make sure you set your oven to 350 and cover your cookie sheets with parchment paper. After letting the dough sit in the fridge overnight, I pulled it out of the fridge about 15 minutes before to let it soften so that it could be rolled out. It should be pliable enough to roll out, but still cool to the touch. I break up the slab into half so that it is easier to work with. Put a little bit of flour down and roll the dough out. Make sure it is nice and even, about 1/8 of an inch to about 1/4 of an inch thick. Of course, thinner cookies will have more snap, and thicker cookies will be more soft. Once the pans are full, bake in the oven for 8 minutes and then flip the pans and bake for another 8 minutes. Be careful not to overwork the dough. While it doesn't have gluten to make it tough, it can get too warm and start to fall apart. If this happens, just rewrap it and put it in the fridge for about 15 minutes. I was very proud that I was able to coax one last little heart out of the dough I had left. So here are the cookies after they've been baked. They should be nice and sort of brown on the bottom So this was only the half of the dough. Actually, I cooked up the other half of the dough last night because my mom really wanted cookies. But they were too busy watching a K-drama for me to be able to film. These are one of my favorite Christmas cookies, really. They're not like Christmas cookies because I make them like all winter long. I only get tired of them in like March. So I hope you enjoy this recipe. Happy holidays. I am very snowy. Look on the back of my scarf there. Yes.